Hello, I'm Nino Cafaro and this is my YouTube channel, Talk Legal with Nino. Today I'm talking about COVID-19, lasting powers of attorney, Ferrero Rocher chocolate, and my mum. Now, I was reading the government website guidance on lasting powers of attorney and COVID yesterday. Now, just to be clear, I only did this because I'd finished watching something that was really interesting on YouTube and suddenly this .gov website just flashed up. I wasn't reading it because I'm boring. I don't have a life and I typically read government websites and guidance. I don't do that. Anyway, as I was reading it, I thought, well, it's boring and not very clear, so I wanted to put it into some normal speak for you. To do that, I'm going to pretend I'm acting as an attorney for my mum who's lost capacity. Now, for the record, she hasn't lost capacity. She's absolutely tickety-boo, mum. If you're watching this, don't worry. None of this really happened, and I'll see you for a coffee through your kitchen window in the morning. So I'm an attorney now. I'm acting for my mum who's lost capacity, and I've got to make a decision on whether or not she should have the vaccine. How do I get consent from my mum? Then the consent bit might surprise some people, but it really shouldn't. Just because she lacks capacity doesn't mean I can make decisions without trying to involve her. The law on that's really clear. She has to agree to the vaccine before she's given it. But how can she agree if she doesn't have capacity? Well, I can't just assume she won't understand. Instead, I have to assume she can make her own decisions, unless it's proven otherwise. So my job, therefore, is to make sure that she can understand and retain the possible benefits, in the simplest of terms, any side effects and risks of having the vaccine, what could happen if she doesn't consent. Now, let's assume she can't consent and I decide she's not having it. Well, a healthcare professional could consider that my decision isn't in my mum's best interest, and they could, and probably should, get some legal advice from local authority or an NHS body, and the decision might be taken out of my hands. So it's not as simple as you might think. Just because you have a lasting power of attorney in place, you still ought to get some advice when making certain decisions. But what would happen if my mum didn't have a lasting power of attorney? Again, something called a best interest decision should be taken by anyone who's giving her the vaccine. And by the way, that decision certainly isn't that the family member should be involved just because you're next of kin. Don't make the mistake, because that's not the case. Really important to get the right legal advice, therefore, before making some decisions. More importantly, if you or those you love don't have a lasting power of attorney, the decision is likely to be taken out of your hands. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, and probably for most of you, the only reason you watch this video anyway, the Ferrero Rocher. This delicious, vitamin-packed, tasty bite will go to anyone who can convince me that they don't need a lasting power of attorney. Now, for the smarty pants amongst you, because I've got one already, doesn't count as a valid answer. Share your answers in the comments, and if you want to contact me, click any of the links on the About page for weekly fun, bite-sized videos on death, taxes, mental capacity, chocolates, mums, and much, much more. Please hit the subscribe button.